The chime of the bell beckons us into sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt invitation to join us in meaningful worship and service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo de amor, honorando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all of you who are with us this morning, and we hope that those who are watching our live stream will take the opportunity to fill out our online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in the order of service. We ask that those who are here in person take a moment after the service and introduce yourself to someone that you do not know. Today is also the start of our summer religious education program, which means that we're offering religious education programming at 11:30 only. Today is also a very special day. Our beloved associate minister, the Reverend D. Scott Cooper, is retiring after 7 years of service with our congregation. This makes him the person with the longest tenure of a second minister at First Unitarian Universalist. So after the 11:30 service, we will be celebrating Scott and his achievements. So I hope that you will join me then, just as I hope that you will join me now in giving Scott a grateful round of applause. He has done so much for our community and our Unitarian Universalist movement, and he will be greatly missed. So now please join Dr. Batiste and Chelsea for our opening hymn.
Please rise in body and or spirit and join in singing hymn 295, Sing Out Praises for the Journey.
Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Let us come together this morning with love to stand upon the threshold. Let there be truth heard in the words spoken and the songs sung. May we listen in the silence carefully for the voice within us and the voice beyond us. May we come together this morning with love to worship together.
Would you please join me in reading the covenant found in the order of service? Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
Tell our story, let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, maybe there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to your daughters and our sons. Make them hear you, make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you, make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be with you again.
Invite Board President Ruth Halfman-Lack up here at this time to join with me in blessing Reverend Scott. I need a minute. Okay. You want me to stand on that? Yeah, sure. Okay. So at the 11:30 service, we're going to be doing the formal release where we do a laying on of hands in addition to saying the blessing. But today at the 9:30 service, we're inviting everybody to say a blessing and participate in the act of release as well. The life of our religious community is fluid, ever-changing with new lives, new visions, and new possibilities. In September of 2019, we welcomed you, Reverend Scott, as our assistant minister. And over the past 7 years, we have all benefited from your ministry of care. We've been enriched and grown as you have guided us with compassion and openness through difficult times and peaceful times. Today, we say farewell to you. Congregation, please join with me in using the words in your order of service. Reverend Scott, we are grateful for the many ways you have shared your ministry with us. We laughed, we cried, and we grew as you blessed us with your gift for preaching with style. Even though you will no longer be with us, we will cherish the many memories we have shared. We will miss you. You should come to the microphone.
In order to facilitate a gentle and harmonious transition to a new beginning, I invite the congregation to release you from your duties and bless your path forward. Do you, members and friends of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, now release Reverend Scott from his role as Associate Ministry of our community? Minister. Reverend Scott, do you release the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston from turning to you for ministry and guidance?
I do.
Reverend Scott, after the 11:30 service, you will be released from your ministry at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston.
Please join your voices with mine as we bestow a blessing on Reverend Scott.
May you find joy and happiness in the wondrous possibilities before you. May you be cherished and sustained by the love and gratitude of all who have known you and will come to know you. May you find peace and kindness in every day.
Blessed be.
Blessed
Thank
be.
you.
We take time to mark the great transitions in our lives. We also take time each week to offer up a space for prayer and meditation. So in the spirit of finding that space, I invite you to open yourselves to the wonders and mysteries of the world. Open yourselves to compassion and empathy. Take a breath. Take another. Find your center. This month we celebrate Pride. This month we celebrate the prisms of glass unleashed by the brick Marsha Johnson threw at Stonewall, so that we may continue to offer up pride-filled rainbows of human diversity. This month, O Spirit of life, moving through each and uniting all, we ask that we may be reminded of the simple truth that each and every person and each and every being contains divine sparkles and flashes of holy glitter. Today, in this month of Pride, as we observe the 10th anniversary of a Pulse nightclub shooting, we send our love and hope to all who have suffered because they were hated simply for being who they are. We know, O Spirit of life, that the love of the world is often most strongly manifest through those who refuse to conform to gender binaries, who proclaim love is love, that everyone is beautiful, that the world holds yet more fierce, queer, non-conforming joy than we shall ever know. It is in the strains of music that moves our bodies. It is in the clothes we wear. It is in poetry, engineering, science, black and white still photography, brush on canvas, the everything that makes up our lives. Today, this month, always, as we celebrate Pride, we say, as a religious community, doing our best to widen love's circle, that everyone is loved by the divine, so we shall do our best to love everyone. If you have not heard it today, you are loved, you are a blessing. The universe is grateful for you. In that spirit, I invite the congregation to say amen. We pause now to lift up that which sits light and heavy on our hearts. We send love and healing thoughts to Earl Dredge today as he recovers from a recent surgery. Pandora Johnson's memorial service has been scheduled for Saturday, June 29th. All are welcome to attend, and you are encouraged to wear a colorful outfit in Pandora's memory. Offering these prayers, we now turn to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and neo-pagan traditions. We say aloud or bring to mind those we wish to have held in the loving embrace of this religious community. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. As we do, we extend all of our empathy to the suffering and joy amid and among our community that has gone unnamed. So now we pause in awe and wonder at the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite you to enter into a time of silent meditation, reflection, or prayer.
In the quiet of this place, let this moment fill with grace. This is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Our morning offering is shared each week with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, we are donating to the Montrose Center. Since 1978, the Montrose Center has helped LGBTQ+ youth and adults live healthy, actualized lives with the tools and resources they need to feel affirmed. The organization provides an array of programs and services, including mental health and behavioral health, anti-violence services, support groups, and specialized services for youth, seniors, and those living with HIV. It now operates the nation's largest LGBTQ affirming affordable senior living center in the nation, the Law Harrington Senior Living Center. As the politics of hate make living in Texas more and more dangerous for sexual minorities, especially the trans community, our support of organizations like the Montrose Center is more important than ever. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient. And those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
Please join me in the words to dedicate our offering found in your order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Today's first reading is an excerpt from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetuate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Here ends the first reading.
The second reading is an excerpt from Amanda Gorman's TED Talk titled, "Using Your Voice is a Political Choice." There are words I repeat in a mantra before every single poetry performance. In fact, I was doing it in the corner, sitting over there. I was making faces, and so I repeat them to myself as a way to gather myself, because I'm not sure if you know, but public speaking is pretty terrifying. I know I'm on stage, and I have my heels, and I look all glam, but I'm horrified. And the way in which I find a kind of strength for myself is by having this mantra. Most of my life, I was particularly terrified of speaking because I had a speech impediment, which made it difficult to pronounce certain letters and sounds. And I felt like I was fine writing on the page. But once I got on stage, I was worried my words might jumble and stumble. What was the point in trying not to mumble these thoughts in my head if everything's already been said before? But finally, I had a moment of realization where I thought, if I choose not to speak out of fear, then there's no one that my silence is standing for. And so I came to realize that I cannot stand standing by to the side, standing silent. I must find the strength to speak up, and one of the ways I do that is through my mantra. Here ends the second reading.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 168, found in your gray hymnal, One More Step.
Well, as has been pointed out moments ago, I am retiring after today. But I also realize that there are other things going on in the world. FIFA is here in Houston. Germany is playing Curacao in match 10 at Energy Stadium at noon. So I'm glad you're at the first service. Today, at an unintentionally gay pride event, muscled, shirtless men will be wrestling on the south lawn of the White House. But before I hurl myself headlong into my remarks, I need to give a shout out to some very special guests who are visiting today. Now, many of them will be at the second service, but hopefully you can linger, and many of them will be arriving early, so you'll be able to greet them, hopefully. 3 of them I've known and kept up with longer than nearly anyone else in my life. My smarter and better looking sister, Vicky, has known me all her life, and I had 3 years of assuming I was the center of the universe until she arrived to dissuade me of that perception. Like many oldest siblings, it took me a while to accept that fact, and she's here with her salt of the earth husband, Gary. Now, I met Pam in Miss Grosclose's 6th grade class. That was her name. We became friends and would ride our bicycles around our subdivisions. She brought down the house in the elementary school talent show in white go-go boots, singing Rocky Top while accompanying herself on the guitar. I met Jim the next year, and the 3 of us would appear in our 9th grade play, The Worm Shall Squirm. Sadly, it was not a musical. Jim would go on to be a minister of music at various churches for many years, and more recently, they both sang at my dad's funeral. Now, back then, we didn't know exactly where our lives would take us. We might have made some educated guesses, though. Jim, always an ardent family man, is the most devoted grandpa ever, spending as much time as possible with his beloved grandchildren. Pam would go on to appear on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, have Dolly Parton do a duet with her on one of her albums, and be nominated for a Grammy. But some things I don't think could have been predicted. Had you told me back then that one day my boyfriend's ex-wife would agree to proofread my entrance essay for seminary, I would have suggested a good mental hospital. But I'm beyond pleased that both my stepsister Jordan and her mom will be with us. Of course, the next year I married my boyfriend Conrad. I often admit I think that people would assume in a couple the minister is the nicer one, but not in this case. We will also have our friend Novia here. She was a loving and invaluable help when Conrad's dad Rudy was in home hospice. She would charm Abuelo into doing things he needed to do when no one else could. She is an angel, and she's here with her husband, Angel. Conrad is my most ardent supporter and sometimes quick to shine a light on me when I might have opted to stay in the shadows. On one of our cruises, we found ourselves in a piano bar with the internationally acclaimed cabaret performer Ann Hampton Calloway. Making her way to the piano, she asked, "Would anyone like to sing?" Conrad immediately said, "Scott would." So it should not have surprised me to realize it was he who disclosed to Dr. Batiste that I had previously sung here during services, which led me to reprising Make Them Hear You this morning. Make Them Hear You is from the musical Ragtime. Yes, a musical. Ragtime just won the Tony for Best Revival and is based on the 1975 novel by E.L. Doctorow. Powerfully played out on stage, it showed how people a century ago previously endured some of the very same things we are witnessing today. The blatant bigotry, the demonization of immigrants, the obscene widening of the wealth gap makes the production feel current. Near the end of the show, Coalhouse Walker is seeking justice for the way he has been egregiously mistreated and for the murder of his fiancée. He and his men barricade themselves in J.P. Morgan's opulent library in the heart of New York City, and he threatens to blow it up. Booker T. Washington is brought in to mediate. Coalhouse is persuaded that violence cannot solve injustice, and he exhorts his men to fight through the power of their words. He sings the song, Make Them Hear You. Now, after agreeing to sing this morning, it later occurred to me that I could use the words of that song as a framework for my remarks this morning. I plan to talk about different ways you might be encouraged to raise your voices, to make them hear you. Coalhouse Walker said, "Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen." You can make your voice heard not only by voting, but by joining those who address postcards on Wednesday mornings in Channing Hall to encourage others to vote. Or you might send a letter to the editor to the Chronicle. Amanda Gorman writes poetry. In that same TED Talk, she said, "Poetry has never been the language of barriers. It's always been the language of bridges. And it's this connection making that makes poetry, yes, powerful, but also makes it political." Your cleverly worded protest sign is making your voice heard at a rally as much as using the bullhorn, and it might go viral on social media. Stoic and Hellenistic philosopher Zeno of Citium told us, "We have two ears and one mouth, so we should listen more than we say." Millennia later, Aaron Burr advised Hamilton, "Talk less, smile more." You'll notice the song isn't "let them hear you," it's "make them hear you." Voices of the oppressed and marginalized are often not noticed. They must struggle and demand to make themselves heard, which is why I begin by mentioning listening. How well do we hear the voices of those who are frequently silenced or ignored? In February, in a sermon when I talked about the erasing of the accomplishments of women and people of color, I quoted an ICE agent in Minnesota threatening, "You raise your voice, I erase your voice." I don't think many people think about the fact that listening can be a ministry, but only if you're really listening and not just hearing noise like Charlie Brown's teacher. This was made clear to me when I was working at First Street Mission in Fort Worth during seminary. It was a bit like EAC in that they provided various services for the unhoused and underserved in the community. One of my assigned tasks was to field calls from people asking for financial help. They typically needed help with rent, utilities, or an unexpected expense, similar to requests here of the minister's discretionary fund. While we did have a small budget for such things, it was usually depleted 2 days into the month. But the calls continued. I was told and learned that it was true that even when we couldn't help financially, people would appreciate just being listened to. They had called various agencies and churches, and invariably an exasperated someone would say, "We can't help," and hang up. They would thank me for taking the time to at least hear their story and for treating them like a person. We often think we must come up with something helpful to say when someone is sad, hurting, or grieving. This has led to many unkind and unhelpful things being said at hospitals and funerals. I learned when I was a chaplain, not only was I usually unable to come up with something helpful, it was often better not to try. People most often wanted someone to just listen and maybe hand them tissues. Person after person told me how helpful I had been when it seemed to me I had just kept my mouth shut and listened. Author Roy T. Bennett wrote, "Listen with curiosity, speak with honesty, act with integrity. The greatest problem with communication is we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. When we listen with curiosity, we don't listen with the intent to reply. We listen for what's behind the words." Now, I mentioned a moment ago that voting is a way of making your voice heard. I want to revisit that for a moment, not only because it's so important this year, but because democracy has been historically important in the UU Church. Our fifth principle affirms the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. In a statement by then president of the UUA, the Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, she wrote, "We hold the practice of democracy within our denomination and society as sacred. Unitarian Universalists believe that every voice matters and every voice is needed. Unfettered access to the ballot is essential to ensuring every voice is heard. The voter suppression, gerrymandering, and purging of voter rolls that we have seen over the last few years, and the more recent Supreme Court's evisceration of the Voting Rights Act, are intended to make sure every voice is not heard, which is why we're doing what we can to encourage voters everywhere to make them hear you. Now, the new pope seems like a mensch, but that's not how we roll. Our congregations are independent, and we use the democratic process within our congregations. The UUA can't expel our church for voting to have a woman minister. Not that such a thing would happen in America in 2026. This process was shown last week at our annual meeting when members were encouraged to vote for new board members in the nominating committee. You are encouraged to become a member so that you can vote. You are also encouraged to become involved in our nonpartisan civic engagement initiative, UU the Vote. That's one way to make them hear all of us. Now, at our last staff retreat, Nina had created a great workshop where we discussed the parts of our theological house. Various aspects of religion were represented by different parts of a house. Theology, the study of religious faith, is the foundation. Eschatology, which concerns expectations of the end of the world or the end times, is represented by the door, and so on. The window represented missiology, the study of the church's mission, internally and in relation to others. Nina's prompt for our reflection was, how do we share our beliefs without making others feel imposed upon or dominated? I suggested that this could be done by sharing what our church means to us and has done for us, and not by telling others what it will do for them. We hear advertisers promise every day how their car/mattress/protein shake will make us feel. I bet they won't. You can tell me how it makes you feel. People are suspicious of being told how they should react, feel, or believe. And it's pretty presumptuous for us to believe we know anyway. This is why I believe UUs are particularly bad at inviting people to church. So many of us were on the wrong end of being evangelized to. We didn't appreciate someone acting as though they knew what was best for us and how we should feel, so we don't want to do anything similar to others. So no matter how much we love our church, we'd rather not chance annoying someone by inviting them. One of the sermon anecdotes I remember Reverend Dr. Laurel Hallman telling us in Dallas was the time she was planning a memorial service for a person who would come out to their family as gay, but not as Unitarian Universalists. I mean, we all have to gauge how much our families can handle. I understand one of the first questions a person in the South is asked by neighbors when moving into a neighborhood is, where do you go to church? So, if church is brought up, just say why you like and appreciate our church. This is a good time to mention the elevator speech. If someone asks you about Unitarian Universalism on the top floor, it's handy to have something prepared to say before you reach the ground floor. If they're intrigued, they'll ask more questions. Now, I know someone whose method was to not mention beliefs at all, and to certainly not mention the sermons or the rituals. She would just tell people how good the music is and how they really needed to come and hear the music. Luckily, we're able to use that same technique here. Then they'd come and often like the non-musical parts of the service as well. I've heard multiple people say they came to a social justice event at a UU church, looked around at the art, posters, and pamphlets, and asked, what is this place? If you're standing there when they ask, tell them. Now, I've never encouraged people to spread our good news so that I could speak before thousands of people. I could have figured out an easier and more lucrative way of doing that. I've done it because I believe we have a community that can be life-changing and even life-saving. I believe we can hold a mirror up to Christian nationalism and be an antidote to high-control religions. Please tell people, you know, we've got a good thing here, and make them hear you. I began by acknowledging some special guests here today. I must conclude by acknowledging those people who are here far more often, who show up not only each week, but throughout the entire week to do the good work of this community. I refer, of course, to you, the members, friends, and staff of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston. Those who read my message Friday in the newsletter know it was almost 7 years ago when I was welcomed by you. I preached that first Sunday, and Georgette was the worship associate. In retrospect, I apparently tempted the fates by titling my sermon Disruption. I spoke about how things we would rather not have happened have made us who we are. Disruption. 6 months later, a global pandemic hit. I had rather it hadn't happened, but it certainly helped shape my ministry, as has all the love and support you've shown. I've been privileged to get to be your assistant and associate minister. I've worked with some great people on community projects, social justice work, pastoral care, planning worship, and so much more. I don't know how to end except by simply saying thank you and I love you.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 1017, found in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world would die. Peace and freedom are our cry.
Please join me in reading the words to extinguish the chalice found in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Dr. King said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." May we continue our lives by speaking those things that matter, by toiling for justice, and by widening the circle of love. This is our calling. Go forth and make them hear you.